Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a lovely week. I hope it started well. Now, we're going to do the last page on our calendar today, and I have to say I've enjoyed every minute of this calendar and I can't wait to start on next year's as soon as we get them. Now, I'm going to go a bit festive today, but don't panic if you're not in a festive mood. Well, this could tempt you, but also just keep whatever we do as an idea for when you do make your Christmas cards or your festive. This design could be used for winter birthdays. But again, let's just spend some time together. And what I'm thinking of doing for December is I want to create a bit of some foliage, I'm thinking, and a couple of baubles. And for that, I'm going to use my acetate circle masks. And I'm thinking I'm going to have one here and one here. And these are going to be hanging baubles. So I'm going to come in with Della Blue ink. And I'm just going to rest it on here. I think that'll be the easiest thing. And again, we get a bit of glare, I'm afraid, but that's from the acetate. So I think I'll have the first bauble there. And I'm just going to, as always, take some ink off on the lid, pop it on my mask first, and then just want to get a sort of bauble shape. And I'm always I want this corner darker, which will just add with perspective. So whenever I ink up, I always come in on this corner. And that way, this corner will be darker. And I'm just going to go around just to get that sort of bauble shape. And I just want it a bit deeper. And I'm just going for this lovely Della Blue. I just fancy having a blue theme for my... I know we could have gone red for Christmas, but we did red in November, didn't we? So I thought of having more of a blue theme, although I think we might introduce a cheeky bit of red. So there we go. There's my first bauble. And I'm just going to repeat that. I don't want them the same height. So I'm thinking here. So I'm just going to do the same thing. And it's a great way of practicing doing your highlights, your moons, using these circle masks. So much you can do with them. Got to be honest, I've just bought myself a second set because I use them so much. I'm so worried about losing them or misplacing them, you know, like we do. I'm sure there's some craft pixies that come in and move my things. Do they move yours? Because do you know what? And my little pound stamps, my cogs, the birds. I'm on my second set of the bird stamps, the bird collection. I've just bought a second set. It is funny. I'm sure I'm going to find them one day. You know, they're probably with all those odd socks that disappear. Right, there we go. So I've got myself a couple of little hanging baubles, and I'm just going to clean my mask with my Inky Binky, give it a wipe before putting it away, because I don't want to pick it up next time and it have blue on. So I want to add some foliage, and I've got my lovely set of winter berries here. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to come in with a couple of these to give me a bit on this side. So I'm going to come in with Shady Lane, or as she has it in my head, Shady Lady. Just so we've got sort of a green tone. And I'm just going to stamp. I think we'll have one coming in here. And I'm not quite under my copy paper there, but not to worry. We can get round that. This is why I have my copy paper, my little safety net, and I've obviously moved. But never mind. I'll have the next one here. You can see the difference, can't you, for me, because my copy paper wasn't under. It's just because I have problems with my shoulders and stamping. It's getting the pressure. But as I say, not to worry. It is what it is. I'll have another one. And that's the thing. I want, you know, when you get these calendars, don't over worry about stamping directly on them. because there's ways, you know, if mishaps happen, we have ways of getting round it. I mean, I could overstamp that, but me being me, it won't stamp perfectly. See, I have got the pound stamp. Now, I could, let me just see, the mini, I should say, and just see if I can get that over there. There we go. Now, you won't tell anybody about this, will you? And we'll see if we can just do that one there. And then one more. Obviously, if I'd stamped in black, I could just draw it in with my black fine liner, but I've gone for green, haven't I? But you know what? That's fine. Now, because of the, what's this called? Spine, we'll call it. This spiral spine here. I can't get my big, if I want to stamp, it won't stamp properly with the block. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to come in with this little mini stamp. And if I have it in the corner, look, I can get in and we can add a few, because I want a little bit of foliage along the top. And I'm just going to alter the angle. And this is all things you just think about, you know, when you're coming up with designs. Put another one there. Right, we'll give that a bit of a wipe. And then what I'm thinking is I've got my mini holly to fill in the spaces. And I'm going to use the green again. And I'm just going to do some first and second generation and just see if we can get some nice. Let's have a bit of first and see if we can bring some second there and just build up a bit of third there, do you think? Yeah. Let's try some over here, a little bit of second and third. Just to sort of give us a nice shape. And again, don't overthink it. Just, I'm thinking of sort of a curve here. That's in my head what I'm going for. I just think if I have a nice sort of curve shape, just coming down here, and I like that just going across. Maybe just one more here, little bit up here. I'm not going to overdo it because obviously I don't, you know how many times I do say don't overcook it, but I'm thinking just a little bit there, just where we've got the, yes. So I like that sort of shape coming in. Now, I want to make these look more like baubles. So what I'm going to do, let's just give this a blot. Because VersaFine Clair, remember, it's a slower drying ink. So I just want to blot it, just so I don't smudge it. Or to give myself a fighting chance of not smudging it. We'll put that back under there. I mean, most time you'll be fine, but you can guarantee if I don't blot it, the one time I don't blot it is the one time it's going to smudge. So I've got a black fine liner here. Now we could leave the baubles like that, but I'm thinking let's just edge them. And I'm just going to go round very carefully the circle. And I'm starting at the top. And I am just going to take my time. And again, give that a wipe and pop it away. Then I'm just going to hand draw myself a little sort of, you know, the little sort of clasp thing they have on the top, which probably has a name. Now, I can hand draw a nice little chain, which will just draw that. Or, if you don't want to hand draw one, you can actually stamp your Christmas charms and mask off and use this as your chain. But what I'm thinking is, I'd like to actually put a little bit of holly going down the chain. That's the idea. So what I'm thinking is, if I just stamp a little bit of holly here, so it looks like it's actually just growing. And I don't want this bit, so I'm just going to wipe. I just want these bits of the holly, so it looks like it's sort of growing down. So again, don't overthink the chain at all. Right, so I want a little bit of design in my baubles. And I'm thinking, well, we've got to add some colour. So I've got two things here in my mind. I want to stamp in my bauble, but also I want to watercolour my berries. Now, my berries will take a while to dry. So maybe I'm better watercolouring my berries, and while they're drying, I can stamp the baubles. Does that make sense? That's the way my head works. So we're going for blue berries. So I'm going to come in, and just to show you, because I do forget sometimes, and I'm just going to use my watercolour pencils, and I've chosen a dark blue and a lovely sort of turquoisey blue. And just at the base here, going to come in and at the top, almost round the edge, with my darker colour first. And again, Tracy's drawn, you've got lovely little dots. It's all sort of almost like pointillism. We've got the little dots where you want the shade. And again, I'm being mindful to lean on my kitchen towel just in case I've got anything on my hand. I don't want to come in and put marks on this. And again, don't be scared because it's direct. Do you know what? The absolute worst, if you made an absolute complete mess of it and you weren't happy with it, you could make a design on a piece of card and glue it over the top. But honestly, I'm sure you won't. I mean, sometimes I practice. I get an idea for a design and I practice on a piece of copy paper first. Or the odd time I've actually made the design on a piece of card and then it's given me an extra card anyway. But if you're brave and you just want to make the design straight away, but also there are ways round it. I mean, I have to see, for me, having the copy paper underneath just gives me extra oomph. But I have to say, you know, these will make gorgeous gifts. And when you think you would actually be giving somebody all those pieces of your artwork, and every month they will see a piece of your artwork. And you could highlight special birthdays. And that'd be a way, wouldn't it? You could give somebody a calendar. If they forget your birthday, you could make them a calendar and highlight your birthday. Oh, we missed those. So anybody shouted? Anybody tell me we missed those? And again, I just keep my pencils in my hands. I find it a lot quicker. And also for me, I worry if I put pencils on my desk, they tend to roll off. And obviously you've got to watch the lead in them. So I find it easy just to hold my pencils while I'm using them. Right, water brush, and I've put my inky binky down somewhere. Right, and I'm just going to go round, and we'll add a little bit of water to each of these. And again, it just activates the colour. I think that blue is just a beautiful colour. And again, I know I always say this, but you will take a lot longer than me. You can spend your time really adding the colour and being a bit more specific. I'm doing speed colouring here, a bit of speed painting. What I am going to do is, here I have a gold, and it's one of the Signo, our gel pens, and I'm just going to add a little bit on these little clasp things, which I have no idea what they're called, and a little bit on here, look. There we go. Just little bit of detail. Now, while those berries dry, to get on with our scenes. And the first scene, I've got to have Pipin. But where is he? Okay, he's run off. No, he's here. I found him. So, and I'm actually going to use black for this. I'm going to ink him up. And I'm just going to pop him over here. And again, he's a silhouette, so I'm just going to give him a bit of time to stamp. That's beautiful. Give him a wipe. And then he needs something to look at. So in the Christmas charms, we've got a lovely star. And I'm just going to turn this round, I'm afraid. Grab a piece of copy paper. Because what I want to do is I want to stamp the star like this. Now you could draw around the circle and cut yourself a mask off. But I reckon if I just hold my copy of paper, we should be okay. Now I'm going to stamp this in black because I have a plan. Hopefully, she says. So I want him something to look at. So I'm thinking if I just stamp the star there. There we go. And again, we'll give that a wipe. And then in my other bauble, we've got the lovely small Pixy houses. So we'll pop Pipin back and we'll ink up. And again, these, you know, talking about things, these have a habit. I don't know about you, but my small Pixy houses have a habit of wandering off. I don't know where they go, but they obviously set up as new homes somewhere. So I don't want them completely in the centre. Just want it off centre a little bit. So we'll have one. And these are very useful for Christmas cards. Let's have another one just to the side here. And again, I'm giving them each a wipe as I put them back. And then there's the third one. Just pop it straight on my block. Ink it up. And then I'm just going to pop this one there. And again, give it a wipe and then put them all back on. And we'll give those, where's my copy of paper? We'll give those a bit of a blot again, just in case. I'm sure you get sick of me blotting, but do you know what? Like I keep saying, if I didn't, I know it would smudge. So I'm just going to turn this round because I just want to add a little bit of depth. So I'm going to bring in my hill masks. Just to add a little bit, I want to build up a scene, and I'm going to come in with my number 3 stencil brush. Just because for little bits of detail, it's perfect. Same colour, Della Blue. And I just want to add a little bit of shade. And I'm just going to move this along. Oh, there we go. That's perfect, look. And again, although it's tone on tone, you'll be surprised how quickly you can build up. There we go, that's enough. And be mindful, look, not to go outside the bauble. As I say, you could cut yourself a mask if you wanted. I'm just being mindful to concentrate and not go outside the bauble, she says. Well, you know what I'm like. I'm liable to talk to you and forget. Again, lift it up. Yeah, that's enough. So what we'll do, I'll just add a little bit of a, sort of like a hill here. Just a little bit of an idea. I don't want to overcook it. And again, with this one, look, we'll just add a little bit of some colour in the sky. So again, this will create as a mountain and a bit of colour in the sky here. And it's just such a, oh, her who remains nameless wants to speak. So nobody say her name, please, otherwise she will speak. So if we turn the design around, how we're doing. So I did tell you about this here. So I'm just going to come in with my watercolour pencils and just get my yellow. And I just want to give it a yellowy tinge, my star. I like it stamped in the black because I think there's sort of a bit of a silhouette theme here. But just for that little bit of a yellow. But then also the same pencil, I'm just going to come in and add the colour in the windows. And this way it'll team the two baubles up. And it just helps with that nice, as Sir Tim himself says, cohesive design. And I think that just marries the two up. So some little finishing touches. Our Van Gogh pencils, and what we're going to do is add, with the white, we're just going to add some little bit of tail, just a little bit of detail to our lovely stamps. And again, what I'll do, oh, a little bit on here. And what I'll do is just smudge it with my finger, and that will help fix it. It's a pastel pencil, so if I used pastel a lot, because this is one question I keep getting asked, I would use a spray fixative, but for this small amount, just smudging it is enough for me. I find that fixes it. And it was just enough to add a little bit of detail. I don't want to overcook it, but that for me just finishes off. But the other thing I want to do is just come in with the blue and add a little bit of shade here, just to sort of give a bit of perspective. So it's as though the bauble, make it a little bit more 3D. And then with a cotton board, have I got one? Just a biodegradable cotton board. I just want to again smudge that. I could use my finger, but I just find when I'm doing it round the cotton board, round the bauble, sorry, the cotton board is useful. And it's just on one edge here. Now you could use black, normally would use black for shadow, but I just want to keep this sort of blue theme going. So I'm going for the blue. And again, I'm going darker, some more pastel in that edge where I want the darker colour. And then just blend it out up the side, look, so it goes paler, and blend it out round here again, so it's paler. Just to add to that 3D effect. And then I'll pop that in there. And we need a couple of things. We need some snow, and we need, now I need to do my berries here. Now I could use my watercolour pencils, but I'm thinking let's use the red posca. And this is a little tip, if you've got a lot of berries to do, it's a bit of a cheat, and I just dot with this posca, and this is the, I know you're going to ask, this is the 5M, and what I've found, if I just, and I may get my head in the way, you can actually do a dot where you want each berry. And again, you would spend longer than me and take your time and actually put your head right over. Obviously, I'm conscious you don't want to see the back of my head. Mind you, I don't think you want to see any of my head, do you? So if I just come in, but if you have a lot of Christmas cards to do, or if you batch making your Christmas cards, this is a lovely way of colouring the berries. Just add in, and as I say, the 5M, the nib is perfect for this. Mind you, even this, you'd be surprised how many berries there are. And I know you're going to look and you're going to shout and you're going to go, Joe, you've missed one or two. Maybe I should have thought about how many times I stamped the holly. At least they're in groups of 3. Right, have we missed any? Let's have a look. I mean, the beauty of it is you can always go back if you have. And that's the red. So with the white, let's add some highlights on those berries. I think they'll be dry by now. Now this one is the 1M, so as you can see, it's a smaller nib, and I just find for me, I like both sizes. Bit greedy really. The 1 is perfect, it's that bit finer, but then the 5 is so good, as I say, for that detail. Go add a little bit. And then what I am going to do is come in with the white, definitely having the 5 and the 1, and I want to just add some snow in here, just in my bauble, a little bit over Pipin, and then just because I can, oh, I've missed a berry off there, look. I want to add, we've got some lovely Christmas sentiment stickers. Now I would show you a full one, but I haven't got a full one because I have been using these so much. And I'm thinking, you see, I like snow and I like hope. I like tinsel and sparkle. Oh, just for you. Oh, you see, I really should have. Right, let's go. We're going to put hope on here because I think that's lovely. And I'm just going to get my scissors. Now, do I want it coming at? No. Decisions. I quite like hope down here, actually. So I'm going to put hope there. I'm going to have snow. And I'm going to have Christmas. I like the 3. So I fancy snow up at the top there. And these are perfect, you know, if you've got an area that you're not too keen on, these beautiful sentiment stickers. But I'm thinking then Christmas can just go there, look, in between. And I've got my Christmas, my hope and my snow. And I just like the 3 together. So I'm going to add a little bit of snow to this. And that's not, let's try this one. And again, you'll find different of your Posca pens. Some are much more better for adding your splats than others. I even write on the lids the ones that are good for adding splats. Now you can add glitter to this. We'll have a little bit of snow around here. I do think Christmas is one of those times when you can add as much glitter as you want and as much Posca snow as you want. Right, let me have a look. And again, often with this, you need to stand back. Let's move the copy paper out so that we can have a proper look at our lovely hanging baubles. And when you think we've got so many different stamps that you could make a little scene in the bauble, if you wanted, you could put the words, some sentiments in your baubles. And then in the bottom corner, look, I've just stamped one of our lovely Christmas charms, the hanging bauble, and a little bit of holly, just to balance the design. And obviously I've coloured the bauble blue to keep that whole blue theme. And I'm hoping that's given you some ideas for your Christmas cards. I think the beautiful corner, you could just have one bauble. As I say, you could have 2, 3. So I'm hoping that's inspired you. If you want to make them really shiny and glossy, don't forget we've got glossy accents. That does take a while to dry, but also you've got your clear embossing powder. And you could use your Versamark ink over the top once it's dry, and then add your clear embossing powder. See? Lots of things. I'm hoping that's just whet your appetite, your crafty appetite, and giving you lots of ideas that you can go away and play and add even more detail. So I hope you have fun. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for popping in. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.